How Madakapi, Chante Washinape Chizapi. Hello, my name is Carl Spinelli. I am half Dakota and half Dene Navajo. I'm enrolled in Crow Creek Sioux Tribe, and my parents are my mother is Arvella Palmini. My father, my dad, is Harris Spinelli. On my parental side is Marie Bernali and Peter Bernali. And on my maternal side is Helen Pomini and Avery Thompson. And fun fact about me is actually my fifth great grandfather on my paternal side, maternal paternal side, is Meriwether Lewis. If many of you guys don't know or heard about him, he is Lewis out of the Lewis and Clark. And so yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I found it out about 6 months ago through Ancestry DNA. And the reason why I dance is, well, when I first started dancing, or before I started dancing actually, I was 2.5 years old, and I was given 3 to 6 months to live. And so modern medicine, Western medicine took me to about the age of, even further, but age of 10 to 11. And that's when I started getting into dancing and into powwows, into ceremonies, and more into my culture. And so when I first saw a dance, I danced grass dance. That was the first style I danced. And then eventually, about a year after that, I was given my first bustle set. I began performing, and I started going to powwows asking about, what is this, what is that, started becoming more into the powwow life. And eventually it took me all around with performing with a bunch of other people, great people, had fun representing my culture. And so before then, I was in and out of hospitals. I was, as soon as I turned 12, my mom actually, she started to take me to the local gym. We would run back and forth at the basketball court, do like footwork and like cross our feet like that, back and forth, just to get my lungs, used to it. And now I could dance. Back then I used to dance barely one song, and the song is like 2 minutes long. Now I could dance 3 minutes without, being tired and everything like that. It's just because, I stayed active. I tried to dance at least, 3 times a week, even if it's not at a powwow or not performing, like that. And so I want to get into my, talk about my culture first before I talk about the men's fancy feather style and powwows and the difference between traditional and contests. So, yep, let's get right into it. And how we got the term Sioux was through the Eastern, through actually the French fur traders, because they heard about us through the Eastern tribe and everybody from the East about how we hunted buffalo and how we utilized every part of the buffalo to make, our clothes, our tools, and everything like that. And so they asked the Eastern tribe, who are those people? What are they called? And the Eastern tribe, they went and described how we were like snakes, how we came into their camp and attacked them, or how we were into battle, we would come and attack them and use the tall grass and slither away, and where we could use the grass to slither, go and disappear. And also where they would come and track us through the grass, and they couldn't find us. They couldn't find any evidence of, us of where we went. And so that's how we got the term the Dawi Sioux. And the English people, they went and adopted the Dawi Sioux, but they cut it in half to Sioux, And the reason why they needed to they used the word Sioux was because they needed a word to describe our nations, all 7 band of us, the Great Sioux Nation they called us. And what it is how our tribes were so big that we had 3 different dialects: Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota. It's like saying, for example, Kola. That's in Lakota because you do that Kola. And then for Dakota, it's Koda with the D. And for Nakota, it's Kona. And that means, my friend. Well, not really my friend. Our language was a descriptive language. So what it really meant is, my brother who I would die for. My friend who is like a brother to me that I would give my life for. And our language was a descriptive language, like how we use the word Tatanka. We didn't say in the correct, term nowadays as known as bison or buffalo. Tatanka stand for the great shaggy beast who roamed the prairie. And that's what it is. Our language was a descriptive language, and that's how we, talked, and that's how we spoke like that. And so that's why I just wanted, to tell you what I was taught on how Sioux meant, or what Sioux meant, or Nadawi Sioux meant. And so now I'm going to talk about the difference between traditional and contest powwows, and touch up on powwow etiquette, and technically like the do's and don'ts also on when you go to a powwow. But powwow first, was back before there was grand entries, before there was princesses, and before there was MCs, because usually when the young men or the men would get back from hunting, or back from war, they want to tell the stories on what happened. They would get excited. When you get back from a kill or a hunt, you're like, oh man, I got this awesome buck, or I hunted this, and you want to tell what happened and how you got it. And so that's what powwows were, because they were gatherings on we were telling our story through dance. And so we'll be dancing, and we'll put up our hands, shoot like that, and we'll be like looking around too on how we looked and everything like that. We'll tell a story about how we were dancing. And so, but now it turned into social gatherings, and with social gatherings was more of a traditional powwow. Traditional powwows are more about ceremonies, honorings, and memorial specials for their families or family members. And so traditional powwows, you usually go to enjoy yourself, see relatives, meet new people, make new friends, go to a powwow place or you haven't gone before, and listen, and while listening, and listening for new songs like that. And so now for contest powwows, it's a little bit more different. You add point systems into it. You add point systems for it, and judges and everything like that. And so there'll be contests. They'll put us in different categories. For men's, it's men's traditional, men's fancy, men's grass, and every now and then at different powwows, it's men's chicken and southern style, etc. And there's different age groups for like juniors, traditionals, junior men's fancy, senior men's fancy. But that's sometimes the junior and seniors mixed in together, and it's just 18 and over. And then there's golden age, which is usually, that one varies too, about 50 through 60. They usually do that. So sometimes it'll be 50 and up, golden age, or 60 and up, golden age. And so we have a point system that is for grand entry. You make grand entry through point systems, and there'll be contests where judges will judge you on your dancing style along with other people dancing at the same song that you're dancing. And for men's fancy feather, it's a little bit, I wouldn't say difficult, but for me, I think it's difficult only because you have to learn a lot of trick songs, because I was taught And I think other dancers also was taught too that when you're dancing, it's against you and the drum, because the drum is trying to buck you off, and so they'll play a trick song. It's kind of like musical chairs, but in our powwows they have lyrics, and for each song it has a certain, after this lyric or after this word, it'll stop like that. And so that's why you gotta learn all these different songs and everything to stay on your toes so you don't get bucked off. What we like to say is bucked off, because when you're dancing and if the song stops and you don't stop, you get bucked off. That's what, yeah, you get bucked off the horse. And so yeah, that's we have a little bit of competition with the drum like that. And sometimes you hear the MC say fancy 1, drum group 0, or drum group 1, fancy feather 0, and so like that. And there'll be spot checks for the contest, and specials too, hosted by the powwow committee or the family members throughout the powwow. And the other subject I like to talk about is powwow etiquette, and that's really just being respectful to people in general, dancers and everything. You don't want to go up to them and touch their outfits, want to see what it feels like or anything like that. And being respectful to the dancers, the powwow, actually, like that. And the other thing is, powwow is a way of life for us. Not like we go out and dance and just for the enjoyment of what we dance, but our families, we all sometimes all powwow. And what we do for the rest of the, after when we get done dancing, it's actually what the rest of the 365 days we do left, is that we don't drink, we don't do drugs. We try to stay on that red road that we talk about. We usually say that red road is because we try to stay positive mentally and physically in our life. And with that is what dancing has taught me also is that with staying drug and alcohol free, is that you take that into your life too. And we talked about that through like ceremonies and everything like that, and being respectful to others like that too. And also powwows are open to the public. Anybody can come. Sometimes powwows have general admission, other times the powwows are free. So you just really got to look at the poster, because each powwow will have a flyer or poster talking about how much admission costs. Even for dancers, we look at the poster to look at the different categories, when grand entry is, when's how much is first, second, and third, like that, and who's the MC and everything like that too. And so when you go to a powwow, there's these things called intertribals, and that's for everybody could come and dance. You don't need to have an outfit, you don't need to know the songs or anything like that. You just get to dance, have fun. If you want, you could, as long as you're respectful, don't touch the outfits and ask permissions of when you want to take pictures with them. But if you go up to a dancer and say, hey, can you teach me the fundamentals or the basic steps to your dance style, they'll be happy to teach you, or they'll point you to someone who would teach you, have a better understanding of teaching you than them. And so that's a good thing to know if you go up and ask like that. Just be kind, respectful like that. And for ceremonies that happens, like dropping a feather, naming ceremonies, any kind of ceremonies, the announcer, the MC, will actually tell you when to put away your phone and not to take pictures or anything, because that's a certain time to be sacred, or respectful during that ceremony. And so that's when you don't take pictures, you don't talk, or you don't record with your phone or anything like that, because I seen a couple of happen to a couple of powwows where they see a person taking a picture during a dropping a feather ceremony, and they took the phone and took the SD card and deleted that file off of the phone and gave it back to them, only because just to be respectful to the family or to whoever the ceremony is for, or whatever the ceremony is for. And so, and also powwow's been around at least 150 years. And so yeah, I'm going to just do a quick summary about it. It's during a powwow, the first thing you do is they do a prayer, so the weekend is start off pretty good and everything like that. And then we start off with a grand entry into a flag song and veteran song, and we do intertribals. Men are going to right on the outside, kind of like how the buffalo guard, the male buffalo guards the female and the children from the center. That's how we got that's how we incorporated our intertribals like that. And intertribals are for everybody like that. And also I know one thing that people ask me is that how do we carry our stuff. And what we do is we usually just take our bustles and take it apart off of the backboard and wrap it up into a roll. And then with the head roach, we grab a pressure stick or a head roach stick, and we stick it on the hole, put it around, and then we take some ace bandage and wrap it around just so it fits. But also for men's fancy feather, that's the style I dance. I actually dance men's fancy, grass, traditional, chicken, and I'm learning hoop dance. And hoop dancing is new to me. But my main what I really like to dance is men's fancy feather. That's my bread and butter. I really like dancing it. And men's fancy feather is there's two different styles, northern and southern. It's not more based on it's more based on outfits and songs. It's not based on dancing style. Well, the difference is a southern song is more slow, more smooth, where you can get your whole body into it, jam, get into it. And northern's more of a fast-paced, quick, hyper song, just if you want to have a nice hype song like that. And the difference is between the styles of singing and dancing or not dancing, of wearing for men's fancy is the rockers or the spinners. For a southern fancy feather, they have a rocker, and what it is just it rocks back and forth. And so while they're dancing, it's you see the men's fancy, they'll be spinning their hips, doing footwork, and they'll be rocking their head back and forth like this. And then for northern, they'll have more of a spinners. They spin around like this. And what I was taught about spinners, because the rocker is more contemporary, it probably is about a few decades old. But the spinners was I was taught is how you see when the spinners they will move, and they will move one way with the wind and stuff. But the feathers are like eyes, and when we dance, we pray. And when we're praying is that the audience or whoever's watching us, whoever's in the audience that is sick, ill, or just having a bad day, that when they watch our stance, they get uplifted. They see us, and they'll like get excited to see us dance. And that's what the feathers are used for. They look around and they bless the people who need to be blessed, or is feeling ill like that. That's why I was taught why we use spinners. And so also the difference in is now with the old style and contemporary. This is not old style, but it's more older than my other head roach or Wapesha. That's what we call it. This is porcupine and deer hair is dyed with porcupine hair. This is more real hair with yarn right here, and it's deer hair right here, and porcupine hair right at the tip of the bottom right here. The dyed hair is the deer hair. That's what it is. And so yeah, this is what it looks like. And for more contemporary, because uh, given time, everything evolved. Starts becoming a new. And with Fancy Feather, they wanted to be Fancy Feather is more about the flashiness, more of the athletic entertainment, dancing. That's why you see some people staying up until like 4 in the morning because we're usually the last to dance because the main event. Some people like to say, only because I know my mom and my family, even my friends like to joke, but we'll be sleeping and wake up at 4 a.m. and then Men's Fancy would get on and be like, yes, Men's Fancy finally. Only because it's a real crowd pleaser. But due to contemporary and times evolving, we have synthetic plastic porcupine hair. And this is my favorite only because I like the way it flows. And like I said, there's different types of porcupine or synthetic head roach. And so with that, some people like long head roaches, like from top all the way back to the back of your shoulders. And other people like short fringe. Other people like longer porcupine hair. And that's the difference between the dancing style of the just top part. And so for the old style busters, or like to say back then before the hackle busters, we actually used eagle busters, and this is what it is. And we would decorate our eagle feathers because we like taking pride in what we used to pray with or what we wear. And so the reason why we use eagle feathers is because the eagle would be the highest bird flying through the sky. And so when we're praying, we're using the feather because we'll use the eagle feathers because we'll use the feathers to help take our message or our prayer to Creator. That's why we also use smoke because the smoke goes up into the air. And that's why we pray with sage or eagle feathers like that. And with nowadays contemporary version, what I like to say is how Men's Fancy became more of a contemporary version, more flashy. They wanted to be more entertained like that. And so then how it became with the hackles like this. And me, I added lights to my hackle bustles because I want to be entertaining more. I just want to stand out like that. And so I will show you a little demonstration right now, actually. Right here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it turns on and off like that. Yeah, right there. And so, and now with the mirrors, actually, here is some mirrors on my headband. And what we used the mirrors is, before actually we used the mirrors, was we use abalone shells. And what we use abalone shells is when spirits came. And so when spirits would come, they would look into the abalone shells and they would get scared because their face would be disfigured. And so they would take off. And now we use mirrors as today's, contemporary, moderate world. We use it because, to block any bad energy or negative energy. So if someone's wishing bad on us, or praying that we get hurt or anything during songs, that we, it would it would hit into the mirror and then go back towards them, so it wouldn't hurt us or harm us. And so before then, or also with the mirrors, like with beadwork, we got our beadwork. We used to actually make our beadwork out of stones and stuff. We would take a bone from the buffalo or anything, or even different tribes. We used to take a stone, smooth it out into a bead, take a bone or anything like that to and rub it down so it makes that circle. And that's how we made our own beads. But in the mid 1800s, the Europeans introduced seed beads, and that's how we traded for seed beads, because they were smaller, and we add more designs, more intricate designs like that. And so, but before we used actual seed beads and beads, we did quill work. And what quill work is we use porcupine quills. We took the quills off of porcupine. Even we used the hair off of porcupine to make head roaches. But we used the quills, we would dye them with like chokecherries, anything like that we could use from nature to help, dye our quills. And we'll make designs. I don't know if you can see it, but these right here are quills, right here the horseshoes are. And well, we used to quills, we would use it to wrap. So what wrapping is we would take rawhide, cut a strip, wrap it around it, and do designs like that. But also we would tack it down to our fabric or to our leather, and we'll make designs like that. And each design that we wear or use back then and today too has a meaning. Like each horseshoe represents the different, how many horses I got from the enemy's camps, like that. And so that's why, back then you could tell if their tribe was our enemy or, our friend, or, we could tell what tribe they're from, things like that off of their designs. And so also with bells, we use bells here. So when we're going to attack the enemy, we wear bells and make it sound like we have more people than what we, what would have been seen. So while we're running around, it'll make it sound like there's more people than what there really are. And so that's why, we wear bells. Well, we wore bells. Now we use it to, make sure that we stop on time on songs like that to, let the judges know, hey, we know the song. And so, yeah, that's the, basic set, stuff for my outfit. And so, yeah, I use what Fantasy Dancers wore. You will see the videos in a bit when I'm, here would be the first video for old style men's fancy feather. Right now, it will be showing right now, yeah. so that was the old style men's fancy feather, and that's, as you see, we move our whole body. Well, we're supposed to move our top body like that, and we're supposed to back in the old pictures, like in the early 1900s, we had arm bustles right here on our shoulders, back of our neck. We had the two top bustles, or the two bustles on the top, bottom, and we had some on our legs, on our right in between our knees and our calves, and long angoras or sheepskins on our legs too. And so that's the old style men's fancy feather. And what we did was, we would have to do more footwork, use our whole body movement, shake our whole upper body, and then when we land on the song, we have to land on both feet on the ground. And so yeah. And then this next dance is more of the contemporary version, the more nowadays version, which is more of a freestyle dance. And that's what Fancy Feather is more of a freestyle dance, because men's fancy is a contemporary dance, and it's just used to entertain the crowd nowadays. But here is contemporary men's Fancy Feather dance now.
In 3, 2, 1, the boys! Bam!
so that was contemporary man's fancy feather. And as you can see, we use hackles versus, old school eagle bustles. And we do higher kicks, tricks now. You see some fancy dancers do cartwheels, flips, ground moves like that. And we'll have whips instead of a spear and a feather, because the old style was a war dance, and this one's more of a, entertaining, more contemporary dance. And you see other ones take, from different styles of breakdancing, hip hops like that. And the stops are different too. Instead of landing on 1 foot, we'll, land in the splits, land with one leg pointing up, sometimes land on our knees, going up like that. And then we do a lot more spins too like that, and higher kicks. And so, how men's fancy feather originated was back in, during when we got back from a war, war party or anything like that. The traditional, they would want to, experience or tell their story. And that's how men's fancy war dance became to be, because it was storytelling also. And that was before the Wild West shows and Wild Bill show. But it was after, a little bit after men's traditional dance, how it came to be. And as it became more popular, it, the more people wanted to see it during the Wild West shows, when they, went and came to watch, Native American dancing. And so that's how it became more, entertaining, more flashy, more, contemporary like that. And I say contemporary because men's fancy is a contemporary. You see a lot of them do a lot of contemporary moves nowadays. And so as the shows, Wild West shows developed, the dancers actually wanted to stand out more, and that's how they became more flashy. Started using hackle bustles, started doing higher kicks. Their dance style changed. Same with their outfits started to change like that. And so nowadays, it's still changing and developing, evolving into more energetic, more entertaining videos like that. And so like that, here's one more last video of me fancy feather. It's actually my style of dancing, my what I was learned, how I was taught by my different teachers, and I added my own style to it. So I want to say before I get into the next video, also I want to touch up on a few subjects. Is our outfits, and a lot of people like to call them costumes, but we call them regalia, because it's who we are, is who we're representing, and everything like that. A costume is something that you're trying not to be. And so there's also times during a powwow where you have to stand up to be respectful, like during a flag song, a veteran song, or an honoring song like that, where the MC will actually tell you when to stand up and be respectful like that. And we don't call it powwows, we call it wachipis, and that means to dance, wachipis. And then also one of the main things also is I think everybody knows it falls under powwow etiquette and respect and everything like that, is you don't come under the influence of drugs and alcohol like that. But here's one last video of me dancing, and hopefully you like my style, and thank you for watching. Alright, thank you.